Just waiting for recording starts. So
Hi.
we did something last week. We'll continue with that attachment. When we say I had a crush at first sight and then we are crushed, that is attachment. It has nothing to do with any kind of love or care. I'm happy to see you. So, do we have purely a happiness to see you, or there is some intention? I'm upset over you. I'm happy with you. Huh? So, what happens, I'm happy with you for a moment, and the next moment, I'm sad with you, I'm upset with you. We are totally unpredictable. Why we are unpredictable? Because we are attached. What is that attachment? It is an emotional dependence. Make it simple. I like you because you meet my expectation. That is emotional dependence. Can we live our life without any expectation? Until we discover that state of the mind, this attachment is not going, then the world goes like this, I'm happy with you, I'm grateful with you, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Same thing happens to our daily life. I am stressed, I am fatigued, I'm tired. That also comes from the sense of attachment and emotional dependence. So we are the most unpredictable because of the attachment. And that attachment, look at this baby. When we were born, we were extremely selfish. We was attached to our mom. We cried for milk, purely physical need. So that sense of instinctual knowledge remains with us. We do not change. And that carries forward our behavior, our attitude. I believe you understand. You all are wise. So let me make it another way to understand this. A baby monkey did not go to any school to know that he has to hold his mother monkey. It is instinctual knowledge. Why he is holding? He may not fall. What happens if he falls? He will hurt. So there is a sense of insecurity. It is instinctual. It is inbuilt. Did you understand? Oh, I understand. Don't. Go ahead. Continue further. Yes, I'm continuing. what happens with us that monkey has no choice but to live on the top of the tree? We have a choice. We can live on the top of the tree and we can also live in our house, the human mind. So from there, the instinctual mind says goodbye to the instinctual mind. But this is one example. That instinctual knowledge keeps, that instinctual mind keeps pushing me in everything, in every relationship. That makes me upset. No one can make me upset in the world. I have a choice. Say whatever you want to say. I will not get upset. But we don't want to understand. We want to blame, complain, react others. And that result is attachment, followed by sorrow and the suffering and delusion. Take another example. You physically hurt someone and you say, I am sorry. To whom you are saying sorry? To yourself who did the mistake, or to the one who is hurt? Home. And that is what is known as ego. How we understood, I think I discussed about person A and 2, and that creates an ego. No, I think I explained it here. You all know it, yeah. So that ego says I am upset. That ego says I am good because I like you. You are bad because I don't like you. I repent. I feel sad. I feel happy. I'm pleased. I have a crush, and long list. We have not one I. We have millions of I in the form of a thought accumulated in the mind. They create an impression, and these impression results into our behavior and attitude and our personality, what we say. You cannot prevent yourself. If a person comes in front, you hate. Your face gestures changes. Why? Because of the same knowledge you have accumulated. We say, no, at least, I tolerated, I didn't say anything. You are already thinking in your mind, and that keeps on accumulating. That causes lot of stress, suffering in our day-to-day life. We have to think of it. If we do not think, then baby monkey. This ego is born every moment because of the thinking, the way we think, and our thinking has become highly disoriented, disorganized, distorted. Think of this. That causes the sorrow and the suffering in our day-to-day life. No one is responsible in the world for my sorrow and the suffering. That is what I explained, the first layer, outside. What is that? How do you see me outside? Oh, look, teacher, beard guy might be like this, his profession is this, and then, the name and the form and the shape, whatever it is. And the second layer is how the mind instinctually, habitually, impulsively is thinking, converting what I am outside Suppose you have a very dire expectation that someone should appreciate you because you have spent 3 hours before the mirror. You have spent it. It's by instinct, instinct. You are in the party. Now every person appreciates the other person, not you. I can bet you are upset. Leave aside the A's and etc. etc. You are definitely upset. Do you see the ego? That is how the ego works. Ego is not that, I abused you and I reacted you openly. No. Subtle ego, constantly at work. Until this ego goes away, it continues to blame, complain, reactive, criticizing. That is what I am. But our master says this is not we are. Behind the two layers, there is a third layer that is a higher consciousness that is permanently made up of calm, peace, joy, happiness. But as long as this ego is working, we cannot enter into that layer. That is why we are understanding, that is why we have to practice. Ego depends on, I told you, the first layer and the second layer. In meditation, you move the mind within. You drop the first and the second layer. Even if you feel 5% of calmness in any meditation practice, that experience of the calmness is not dependent on anything outside. Your shape, your size, your level of intelligence, your beauty, your weight, and long list. What cloth you are wearing, what dress you are putting on, it does not depend on anything. That is a clear validation that calmness is there inside. Doesn't matter you believe it or not. It doesn't. You know it. It can be validated. And that third layer says, you can say that it is a flow of the Shreyas. What is Shreyas? What is right and good in our life? Higher level of consciousness. And the fourth layer is what the real self is. So our master says, if you look at the first layer, it is purely a material. What is made up of this remote is made up of the body. Matter. We may say carbohydrate, protein, fat, amino acids, minerals, but fact is that this body is a matter. Inert, like this remote. As long as we do not become aware that this first layer is purely material matter, and in my knowledge, in my awareness, if I do not separate that I am not the body, this attachment is not going anywhere. And because attachment is not going anywhere, suffering will continue, delusion will continue. That is why it's a journey. It's a journey. That's why we say the teacher has to guide every session, and the seeker has to practice, listen to it. After listening, the seeker has to ask the questions to validate whether I am the body or I'm not the body. A boy was given a puzzle. 10 bananas you have, you give 3 to me. How many are left? Boy said 10. How come? I will not give 3 bananas to you. Clear example of attachment. We do it intelligently, cleverly. We do it cleverly. I will spend $500 on a gala dinner. Many people come, oh, you're charging so much. Attachment. That experience is what it is. And it is everything is happening in the mind. Ego is nothing but a thought that I like you, I dislike you. It doesn't exist anywhere. Unless we recognize, we cannot move to the deeper inside. What is the way? First, knowledge of understanding. No discipline in the science tells you that you are not the body. They say you are the body. So knowledge is different. Principles are different. Manual is different. And a clear understanding tells me that I am not the body. Oh, someone died, and we say he has left, but his body is there. So he's not the body. Or she is not the body. So what we say that this journey should be supported by the discernment. Discernment means separation. Viveka, the Sanskrit word means viveka. I have to separate. What I have to separate in what is, am I the body or am I not the body? There are a lot of levels of separation, real from the unreal, matter from the consciousness, as the way we separate man from the woman, dog from the cat, at the purely material level. So we bring the same power of discernment in our intellect. Let me see whether I am attached. I like you. Who says the mind? The mind through this sense organ that is I went to you, saw you, I like you. But what about the eyes are purely physical? So mind instinctively said I like you or I dislike you. Clear sense of attachment. So what we need, our master says, once we discern, then there comes the dispassion. So dispassion is a state of the mind, an intellect where world does not receive or get attention due to attachment and detachment. Let me tell you in another way. If the mind is attention seeker, you have a very deep sense of attachment. But the dispassion is just opposite. Intellect has a conviction that life is getting or giving attention. No, neither getting attention nor giving attention. So when I give attention, I don't get attention, I feel lonely. Think of it. Think. Getting attention, giving attention. How much attention I get strengthens my likes and dislikes. How much attention I give to the others. Does the tree outside in your garden seeks attention? In the state of a dispassion, mind is not at all worried about anything. It is possible, 100% possible. Did I say that in dispassion, mind is not worried about anything going wrong or absent? Worry means what? No control over what will go wrong. That is means the meaning of the word. So if something goes wrong, you can control, then there is no worry. Clear? So mind and attachment is seeking an attention. Come on, I'm controlling your mind. When you will appreciate me? I'll spend 3 hours before the mirror. One example. So when the mind lives in that state of the worry, seeking and getting attention, the worry, anxiety, feeling of loneliness is always there. Do whatever we want to do. We had another woman attended this session for a couple of weeks and knows and friend, and then she says, I feel lot of loneliness. I don't want to get out of the loneliness. I do not want to understand why I am attached. Why I am attached? Because mind is constantly thinking a company with someone which she could not have. So she doesn't want to listen. So there is a surface ego, and that ego destroys the dispassion. We all sometimes we have the same feeling with one thing or the other. Think of this. Loneliness is nothing but grabbing attention mind so that I can give attention and I can get attention. And dispassion is freedom from the mental pressure. Dispassion is freedom from the intellectual error. This grabbing and getting attention is an intellectual error. Think of this. Think. You need not to believe it, but if you think over it, contemplate, then you see, yes, it is happening. So you see that opposite of dispassion is, I am an attention seeker. One, I have lot of worries in my mind. Two, and I'm ready to have an indulgence. Three, and I think too much because of attention grabbing, worry, and indulgence. So my mind is constantly thinking. Even while listening to me, you might be thinking. It's not a big deal. So, too much thinking based on attention, worry, and the indulgence creates a wrong notion, a kind of a delusion. In that delusion, the ego is born, dispassion is not there, and then I am suffering. And if I am suffering, then I have many reasons to blame and complain and reaction. Understand in a different way. When there is an absence of dispassion, it creates a binding state in the mind. Binding, bond, glue. Mentally, we are glued to lot of things. I like 5 things, it is glue. I dislike 5 things, there is a glue in the mind. That is how my personality is. That is how we live, think, speak, and act. We become very weak. A small things makes me upset. Ask yourself how many of you get upset instantly. Which my ego rationalizes. How? You see, I'm very sensitive. Now you said me this thing. Who cares? You are sensitive. Live beings. Ah, I see a lot of people. I'm very sensitive. I said, you give me the entire alphabets, what I should speak and what I should not, so that you remain at a normal level. You don't become sensitive. You don't know when you become sensitive. Why you don't know? Instinctual response, because of the attachment, because of that ego. No, sensitive in the body makes some sense, because then the doctor finds out the allergic reaction you have in the body. But mentally sensitive, come on. You have created a cover, a veil of ego over yourself. You see any word you speak, if I don't like, I am sensitive. I do not pay attention to understanding. Knowledge is in the background. And that causes anxiety, reaction, duality, conflict, and a host of mental and emotional challenges. Our master says dispassion, listening, listening, listening. Why listening? So that one day it hits the mind and ego drops. Oh, I got it. I got it. Who says? Clarity is there in the intellect, that the intellectual error is gone. That error is gone. Error of perception. So that is what the discernment, and with that discernment becomes the dispassion. So when there is a dispassion and discernment, that mind gradually, progressively leaves the attachment and detachment. Then the sense of loneliness has no value in my life, in our life. Not at all. Why? How? Two questions. Why and how? I was teaching in the morning. The mind becomes rich with the discernment and dispassion. And that rich mind says what it says. Can I get few minutes to withdraw the mind within? Why? to experience the calmness. Why? That calmness is independent of anything in the world. That person is a right seeker. How come? Find out you want to go to a restaurant to enjoy a, what we say, candlelight dinner. That is what we say, candlelight dinner, as if you are eating candles there. Anyhow, so you have to arrange a lot of stuff. You need to have money, first factor. You need to have a car to drive the restaurant too. There must be a seating in the restaurant, three. Then the waiter comes to you and welcomes you, four. Right? Then you order the food, five. You see that six, seventh factor. Then the food is served. You should have a right mood. Eighth factor. Now you put a bite into your mouth, and if the food tastes the way you want it, eighth. Remove any one of the factors. Will you enjoy the dinner? Oh no, I did not add candlelight. That is the attached mind. And what is the mind? Mind says, no, let me enjoy the calmness. What factor you need? How many factors outside? No. You have left the person one and two. You have left your ego. That is what is the journey. Can it happen in one day? Yes. The moment the mind says yes, it is the ego. Yeah, leave it. Let us start. No, you all are wise, so you have understood it. So let us start our practice.